DJ did mention the Kari Lake story. Did you hear that?
Oh yeah, so it's not enough that the whole media is against her. The Republican Party wants to bribe her to keep her from running for Senate.
Now, I did a quick. I'm pulling this up pretty quickly, so unfortunately, this is CNN. But you know what? It is actually, for once, I'll be able to see what's actually true here. But so what happened is the chair of the GOP in Arizona actually tried to bribe her in order to drop out of the race, basically, and to just disappear for a year or so, because that way she could then get all these talk show gigs and make a ton of money and everything. And after she basically kept saying no, and whoever's telling you to do this sort of stuff, maybe you should go public about it. He goes on to say, well, if I do that, then I'm going to turn on my car one day and now,
Yeah,
admittedly,
he's
he
probably
might have
not
been
wrong.
joking, but I mean, in this climate, after
Well,
Epstein, I'm willing to believe anything.
I'd fear more for him if he was offending the Clinton clan, but you never know.
I want to see if they actually had the audio. Well, the thing is, the audio is like 10 minutes long, so I know Kari
Yeah.
Lake. I know if you go ahead and like go on X and type it in there, you'll find it. But he also implies that the cartel might try to go after her if she doesn't drop out as well. So basically, he's implying, hey, Kari Lake, if you drop out and just go ahead and go quiet for a few years, we won't, we'll make sure you get on all these talk shows. You'll make a ton of money off of this. And when she pushes back, he starts bringing up the fact of, well, a lot of people don't like you. Some people might get, you might have to start doubling your security and stuff. Because, the cartels, they're active in like all 50 states. I mean, just really creepy stuff. And then on top of it, talking about how he might get whacked because if he ever went public with it all.
I'm still not 100% because I don't obviously I don't know Kari Lake. I'm not 100% convinced that she's everything that I would hope that she would be as a candidate. I have my doubts about her for whatever reason. There's just something that doesn't feel right. But
Does she seem too good?
I don't know. Maybe it's just the fact that she uses her background in the news to she just seems polished and overly so, but kind of fake maybe is the word I'm looking for. But still, I would have supported her, and beyond a shadow of a doubt, she and the other Republican candidates in Arizona got totally screwed by Maricopa County.
Well, I mean,
There's no doubt that there was, and this will get us kicked off of YouTube, but there's no doubt that there was election interference.
Well, I mean, when the
that messed that up.
readers can only read, like, I think it was like 18, 19-inch ballots, and then of course Republican areas, they make sure all of them have 20 and up inch ballots, so it can't properly read any of them, and then don't redo the election in those areas. How can you argue anything else? And the fact that the person who's responsible for having all of that, fixed and making sure it's all in place, ready for the election, is the person who is running against Kari Lake, who didn't even recuse herself from her responsibilities of running the election. So the person running the election is the person who's up for election. I mean, come on.
And they always have these really good foolproof solutions. We're going to just put it in box C over here, and then we'll tally them up later, and all that bullcrap that was going on in the different states of, well, we'll make up for these irregularities with this foolproof system that obviously wasn't so. But and then you back this story up with the in court. You've got an expert changing votes on Dominion voting machines with a pen, just flat out showing them how easy it is. Fox News is as much problem as I've got with how they've handled themselves the last couple of years. They should get a daggum rebate, a refund from that lawsuit, because it was beyond a shadow of a doubt that you can hack.
Well, the problem with all these lawsuits that come up against like things like Fox News and stuff, and again, Fox News is responsible for how they handled it 100%, and I obviously don't defend Fox News. But
they lost me. They lost me. They lost me when they called Arizona for Biden with no votes counted. Okay, I'm out. It's a good run, Fox, but I'm out.
So a lot of these cases constantly get settled out of court without any issue whatsoever instead of actually fighting it like they really should. Now, admittedly, you might have a case like Alex Jones had where, and listen, I know Alex Jones is crazy. I totally get it. I'm not saying that, the stuff he said about Sandy Hook was right or anything like that, so YouTube, don't hate me too much. But what happened in that case was absolutely ridiculous in the sense of there was never a trial. They ruled he was guilty without ever having a trial. The judge said, give us all of your files. He said, here you go. Here's all my files. And the judge said, well, I don't think that's all of your files. So you need to hand over all your files. And he went, these are all my files. Here you go. And the judge said, if you do not give me all of your files, it's just going to be ruled you're guilty. Or I forget what the technical term is for the ruling, but they can say that, him not complying with the court will get him basically instantly considered guilty of what happened because it's a civil case. And he said again, these are all of my files. What more do you want? And the judge said, too bad. You're guilty. All right, let's move on to the sentencing hearing. He never got a chance to defend himself in court whatsoever. And the fact that he could even be held liable, frankly, for being an idiot when it came to that sort of stuff is beyond me in the first place. I mean, let's face it, what harmed the country more? Him talking about Sandy Hook or CNN and MSNBC spreading the hands up, don't shoot hoax? Like, what harmed the country more? Let's be real, right? What about when CNN actually edited the phone call to 911 that Zimmerman called in, right? When he got attacked by Trayvon Martin and defend himself. They edited his phone call to make it seem like he was saying that, hey, I shot him because he was black. Yet was there any repercussions for them for that? What about not sharing anything Alex Jones had done?
What about not sharing the details of the George Floyd autopsy that showed the drug overdose?
He had lethal amounts of fentanyl in the system?
Yeah. There's so many whatabouts. And what about Dan Rather faking documents for George W. Bush back in the day? It's been going on for a very, very long time.
So DJ actually has
what I can't understand, I'm like you, what I can't understand is why do we keep letting them get away with it?
Oh, I know. Well, because we don't have control of the legacy media. The good part is,
I tell you what, we kind of do. You saw the LA Times is firing pretty much everybody.
Oh yeah.
And Sports Illustrated, after going woke, is firing everybody. They've gone belly up. So we do have some control. It's time to exercise it and stop patronizing some of these things.
And this is why they fear X as well as Rumble so much, because they thought they had control of the new age media as well. And they knew they were losing in the sense of like who was the most popular people there, but they could start banning them and getting them off the platforms and still have control over everything. Now that X is around, being owned by Elon, that's not happening over there. And now that Rumble exists as a competitor to YouTube, I mean, Louder with Crowder gets tens of thousands of people watching his show live on Rumble. And that's a lot of people. But,
what did DJ say?
DJ said, it's unbelievable what this stuff is coming up and the world is just silent. Meanwhile, of course, they played the grab them by the hoo-ha all over the place, right? They sit there and pick out the stupidest of things that Trump said way back when. Yet when someone says, hey, I'm bribing this politician to make sure they don't run, and also I'm implying that they could be killed if they decide to run, and I could be assassinated if I spread the word about it. No one wants to talk about that in the mainstream media whatsoever.
The biggest way that they express their bias is not in what they say, it's in what they choose not to say.
Exactly.
And what they choose not to show.
That is the biggest power of the media. It's not what they tell you, it's about what they don't tell you. Which, frankly, is, I think it was last stream, we talked about a little bit how the Soviet Union basically gets off scot-free when it comes to the atrocities they committed. It isn't so much because they lied to us about the Soviet Union, it's that they never told the truth about the Soviet Union, right? It's not so much they said, oh, and they did say it's such a beautiful place, but they kind of stopped doing that after a while. But what they forgot to do, of course, is to report on the fact that, places like Ukraine had to put up signs saying, hey, guys, don't eat your children because people were starving to death that bad, right? It was that bad. And, of course, I know the commies will sit there and say, oh, well, famine has always existed. It's not that big of a... Yeah, you know what? When you go around and round up all the farmers and then the famine happens, you cause the famine, you're responsible. But
yeah, the fact that anybody can argue that was not government induced, that blows me away.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching the video. This video is a clip from our Summit podcast, which is live here on the channel on Wednesdays at 9 p.m. So if you enjoyed this, feel free to join and be part of the conversation. But before you go, please make sure, of course, you like and subscribe to the channel, and we hope to be seeing you again real soon.